your eyes and look around. Open your eyes. You see the very things that you read about coming true. Don't you realize the moments are near? Correct yourself in your affairs. He has made it crystal clear. These are the signs of the time. Assalamu alaikum. Sunnah followers, new class, stay tuned. Signs of the times.
Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulallah. I want to welcome everybody here to our series of the signs of the last hour. This is our series on the signs of the last hour. Yes, and the whole purpose, excuse me, of me doing this series is because many of you have come to me and asked me to do it because of the so many calamities that are befalling the Muslims around the world. And a lot of Muslims are struggling, having a hard time addressing or dealing with these calamities. You see a lot of boycotts going on. You see a lot of protests going on, you know, and the question is, what are they protesting? What are they boycotting? Okay, that's a big question. And we're going to get back to that question, you know, in a few minutes. I want to again share with everybody Allah. He's the one that created this religion for us. He perfected it for us, and he sent the greatest example of all times to us as to how to implement this religion. He sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the mentor for all human beings and jinn. He taught us the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us how to handle ourselves in good times, how to handle ourselves in bad times. And this is something that I'm reminding the Muslims of a lot as a daya. You know, we have a lot of questions about what's happening in the world. We have a lot of questions about the deen. There is no question that any of you, and I repeat that, any of you can come up with today that has not already been addressed and answered by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And every time I say that, I always challenge you, and I'm gonna challenge you again. Put it to the test. Put it to the test. Ask me a question, and I'll tell you how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam answered it, or his companions. Especially when it comes to the lawful and the unlawful, there's nothing you can think of. Any question about the lawful and the unlawful, just ask it. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam completed our religion for us. Like he said, the lawful and the unlawful have been clearly defined by Allah. Maybe you don't know the answer. Maybe something is doubtful for you. So if it's doubtful to you because you don't know the answer, then you stay away from it until you learn the answer by asking the people of knowledge. But everything has been made clear to us about this religion, including the lawful and the unlawful. And so when we look around today and see what's happening in the world, you know, in the Muslim lands, you know, the Muslim lands in the Middle East, the Muslim lands in Africa, the Muslim lands in Asia, okay? When we look around the world or turn on the news and see all the oppression that's going on in the world, and it seems like it's geared towards Muslim people, You know, there's a reason for everything. There's a cause and effect. And that's why I began teaching this class. That's why I'm teaching it again, because I've taught it many times in the past. But this is why I'm teaching it again, because there's so much going on, and so many Muslims are asking, what do we do? What do we do? How do I behave? Why is this happening? And all of that. When if we would turn back to the traditional Islam, if we would adapt the understanding that those original companions had, then it wouldn't be no mystery to us as to why the war is going on. You know, why same-sex marriage is the thing, why homosexuality and alcohol and fornication and drugs and murder and all that stuff is prevalent. Okay, so that's why I began this class, because Allah commands us in the Quran to look at the signs, to look at his signs as he sends them to us, to recognize the signs, recognize the cause and effect. Remember that everything is a cause and effect. And one thing that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam stressed with us as Muslims is, don't go around pointing fingers at other people. Instead, always point the finger at yourself. Whenever we're living to see the trials and calamities befall us, instead of blaming others, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to look at yourself and ask yourself, did you play a part in what's happening? Are you a cause of what's happening? So, just food for thought again about these signs of the last hour. And alhamdulillah, today what I'm going to do, because we went over so many signs, you know, the signs that will occur, they call it the minor signs of the last hour that will appear. And we went over so many of them. Many of them began to appear when? Who can tell me? When did the first? That's a good question. Who can answer this? What was the first sign that the last hour is near? Who can remember? What is the first sign that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said? He said, when this happens, this will be the first sign that the last hour is near. What is that? What was the first sign? Can anybody remember? Subhanallah. If y'all can't remember this, it's going to make me say, wow, Layla. Anyone? The Prophet?
When the Prophet, I forgot the guy's name, was Solomon or something, claimed that he was a prophet?
No.
Okay.
The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the first sign will begin with what? When what happens? Who can remember? What about you brothers here? Good job, Pamela. MashaAllah, Pamela got it right. The first of the signs of the last hour was the death of the Prophet Muhammad, guys. MashaAllah, I'm so proud of you, Pamela. Boy, y'all need to write that down, because the average Muslim can't give you that answer. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the first sign that the last hour is near will be my death. Allah sent me to perfect and complete what the other prophets did not complete, which was their mission. And when I leave this earth, that will mark the beginning of the signs of the last hour, because there will be no prophets to replace him. He said, my passing will mark the end of that. It'll be the end of revelations. Allah will not send any more revelations down to us. His death marks the end of that. We're on our own, basically. So that's the first sign. And then he told us of many other signs that will emerge after that. And he said that they will begin basically with the division of this nation, the division of this ummah. That's when all the trials and all the tribulations will begin. All the trials, he said, all the calamities that will take us out, that will destroy us as Muslims, will all begin when we divide. Has that already happened? Yes, it has. We've divided into so many sects. We've divided into so many groups that I can't even name them all. It's ridiculous. Every day a new set emerges. Every day a new group emerges. And then he told us, with this division will come other trials, other calamities. And one of them is in regards to knowledge. Who can remember? What is it that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said will happen in regards to knowledge? Can anybody remember that? Give me the meaning of that hadith. What will happen in regards to knowledge?
The knowledge will die with the people who have the knowledge. There won't be any more knowledge. When they die, it's gone.
Okay, and what knowledge is he referring to?
The knowledge of our religion, our Islam.
Okay.
From Allah.
Okay, so he said knowledge will disappear. The true knowledge, the true understanding of Islam will disappear from the earth. And he said Allah won't remove it from the earth. That knowledge will not disappear, the true understanding. It won't be that Allah just going to take all the understanding of Islam off the earth, out of your mind, out of your body, like some of the Mutazila think. No. He said that the knowledge, the true knowledge, the traditional understanding of this religion will die when the true scholars of Islam die, because they will take their knowledge with them. And that means you're going to be left with a bunch of ignorant people who don't understand this religion, giving you their verdicts, their opinions that contradict the traditional Islam. Y'all remember that hadith? Is that hadith already happening today? What do y'all say? Is that already happening? Has the true understanding of Islam, is it disappearing off this earth?
Yes, it has. Some of it has.
Give me some examples as to how that shows how the true understanding of Islam is disappearing, has disappeared, or is disappearing. Give me something that's happening today that shows. Because again, we're supposed to look at the reality of these signs. Give me an example as to how the true understanding of Islam has disappeared or is disappearing.
We have several Muslims in different belief systems now, and they are innovating. They're adding to the religion.
Give me examples. I want examples. Give me some examples that I can see that shows how knowledge, the true understanding of this religion has disappeared or is disappearing.
There are people that come to this to your website and they challenge you.
No, I want an example as to how you can look, anybody can see how the true understanding of this religion has disappeared. Somebody else try to answer besides Anissa. This is what I'm going to have to work on you people with.
For instance, the dress. The women are not dressing properly like how they're supposed to. They wearing these types of dress.
Exactly. Look at the understanding that the Muslims have adopted about, the Muslim women have adopted about how to dress. Good job, Amina. Just a clear answer. We have to be clear. You know, you can look at how Muslim women are dressing today. Is that the way the female companions dressed? No. They didn't wear burqas, and they also didn't go around showing. So you're wrong. All of y'all are dressing incorrectly. You know, what's another example as to how true understanding of this religion about even about the basics? Let me make it easier. The basics.
Free mixing.
I don't know what that means.
Massages, you know, you see a lot of massages have women and men interacting and free, like mixing with one another.
Okay, well,
those are one of those signs of like, of, I don't know.
Don't use that, because the females and the companions and the male companions would interact too. Y'all got to be more specific. You got to go into detail about what y'all mean about that. Free mixing is,
men.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, free mixing is too broad. Y'all got to limit it.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Women on the stage, say for example, the conferences they have now, women are on stage with men and free mixing with one another, and
I wouldn't say free mixing,
but just
what's a better
just
word
on the
to
panel
use?
with men's and discussing the deen.
Okay, and what's wrong with being on the panel with men? Like one sister here is typing. I got a sister here right now and said, what's wrong with that? Come on, guys, we got to express it. Use better words. Don't use free mixing. I would use something else that I've taught y'all about that y'all still don't get.
The women on the stage doing a panel, making public spectacles.
Public spectacles, exactly. I wouldn't use the term free mixing, because the companions mixed together. Subhanallah, they had no choice but to in many circumstances. So that's not a sign. But there are many authentic hadiths that say women will become what? Women will become what? Women will become public spectacles. That's why I told y'all there's no hadith that mentions the English word free mixing. Free mix is something that we make up. No, because free mixing can mean a lot of stuff. I might have to mix with a man to do an operation. I might have to sit at a table with a man because we're having a meeting. No. The answer is public spectacles. That's an example as to how understanding. A lot of Muslim women and men do not understand what public spectacle means. Give me another example as to how knowledge, the true knowledge and the true understanding of Islam has disappeared or is disappearing.
There's more women in America than men.
That's not understanding. Listen to the question. Give me an example as to how knowledge and understanding of this religion is disappearing. I'm not asking about another sign. We're still talking about knowledge and understanding. Okay, Sister
the way
Annette.
we make our prayers.
That's
knowledge that we have.
Good job. That's what Annette is typing. Sister Annette Muhammad. She said the way we pray, the way we put our hands on the chest, the way the hands go on the sides, not standing the way. Good job, Sister Annette. That's another example of how the understanding. So we've lost the correct understanding as to how to pray. We're not praying the way the companions understood it. We're not putting our hands correctly. We're not closing the gaps. Good job, Sister Annette. Do you other people in the Zoom room understand what I mean? I want y'all to give me an example as to how the understanding of this religion has disappeared. The understanding as to how to dress is not there. The understanding of what public spectacle means. I don't want none of y'all to use the word free mixing. I don't want anyone from my website to use that term because you don't know what it means. But I broke down what public spectacle means. You got Muslim women and men, because the Muslim men are not supposed to be public spectacles either. We have Muslim women and men who don't understand what public spectacle is. What else? What's another example of as to how the understanding has disappeared?
Another example of the understanding is how we give dawah, how we think we have to go around and force Islam on someone, going knocking at doors, setting up tables, and the liking.
Exactly. Our understanding of dawah is non-existent, it seems like. We got Muslims today who don't have the same understanding that the Prophet ﷺ and those original companions had. They didn't go around forcing Islam on people. The companions did not put up booths at the marketplace and pass out Bibles and Qurans and compare them. Even the way to give dawah has become forgotten or is disappearing. Instead, we're taking on the way the non-Muslims give dawah, knocking on people's doors. That's not Islam. Allah doesn't want us putting ourselves in positions that can cause us harm. You knock on somebody's door, they're going to take a gun and blow your head off. It happens every day. Check the news. What's another example? Another example.
Could it be the fact that we've been divided into many different groups?
Okay, I want y'all to, this is what we can't do. Did I ask about groups? What am I asking?
Understanding.
Right. And so your answer has to relate to knowledge. Knowledge of the prayer, knowledge of dress. Good job. Knowledge of public spectacle. Knowledge of what else is gone?
Knowledge of our roles as women and men.
Perfect answer.
They are the provider and the maintainers, and the women need to be I'm just saying, I'm going.
That's perfect. Yeah. That's perfect. Our knowledge and understanding of what the role of a woman is. Our knowledge and understanding of what the role of a man is has disappeared. The lines have become blurred, as one of my students said. Sister Laila, the lines are blurred in what our roles are. We no longer have the clear understanding of what a role of a woman is. We got Muslim women thinking that they were created to please a man. We have Muslim women thinking that they were created to worship their husbands. This is not correct. We don't do everything to please our husbands. No, we don't do anything to please them. Everything that we do is to please Allah. Otherwise, it's not accepted, and we're not created to worship a man. So that's gone. That understanding is gone. Okay, what's another example? Sister Miss Jackson said the history of Islam about the companions. Exactly. Good job, Miss Jackson. The knowledge and understanding of who those companions were. That's gone. You can't tell me anything about Abu Hurairah, radiallahu anhu. You don't know anything about the wives of the Prophet. May Allah bless them all. You don't even know anything about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the knowledge and the understanding of those companions and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has disappeared. Good job. Now y'all got it. Now you guys got it. Okay. Good job. Sister Annette, another good answer. The understanding and knowledge of the Adhan, not just the prayer itself, but even the Adhan. We don't even know what the purpose of the Adhan, the significance of it, or even how to call it. So, mashallah, those were great answers and great examples. And again, the reason why I'm making y'all look and point them out is because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, if you live, what did he tell the companions? If you live to see these signs, recognize them as being what they are, signs sent from Allah, signs sent by Allah as a reminder that our time here on this earth is limited. My time here on earth, your time here on earth, it's all limited. So that's why I'm asking you these questions to see if you guys are looking and noticing the signs. Okay, so that's one of the signs. It already happened. And when did the disappearance of knowledge begin? When did this start, guys? When did the knowledge of Islam start to disappear?
At the death of Muhammad.
At the death of who?
Our Prophet Muhammad.
Not really. The death of who? Anybody else? No, not him. When did the knowledge start to disappear? The correct knowledge, the correct understanding of religion. When did it start disappearing, guys?
After the companions?
After the companions. That's common sense. The companions, they were the enforcers, the protectors, the preservers. When they started dying off, that's when knowledge started becoming distorted. There was no longer Aisha to go to. You didn't have Aisha to go to. There are no Aishas here to tell you how to dress. So if you don't have a teacher who knows those hadiths, you're not going to know that covering your face is not from Islam. That is not a command from Allah. You're not going to know. Most women believe that the Prophet's wives covered their faces when they did not. Aisha ain't here to defend it. Ibn Abbas, he's not here to tell you, to explain to you what the verse of the Quran means when Allah says what naturally shows thereof. He's not here to tell you what naturally shows thereof means this. He's not here to tell you what imitating a creation means. He's not here to tell you again that if imitating a creation means to do something specific to him. And unless you have a teacher who knows the Quran, knows the Sunnah, knows that stuff, you're not going to know. So the knowledge of Islam, that's one of the signs of the last hour. And it's already happening. It began to happen as those companions all began to die off, one by one by one. They took their knowledge with them, and the companions were replaced by other people. That's a hadith we're going to get to too, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the companions, one day he was sitting with them after praying Fajr. Salman al-Farsi walked past, and then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam looked at him, and he smiled in such a way his face became bright. And the other companion said, "Oh Prophet, why are you smiling at him like that?" The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam looked around at all his other companions, at Umar, Abu Bakr, Ali, all the rest of them. And he said, "You will become replaced. You will be replaced." He said it 3 times. You will be replaced. And they said, oh, he was receiving the revelation. That's why he was doing this. And they said, replaced by what, O Prophet of Allah? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, his people. And he pointed to Salman al-Farsi. His people. He said it again. His people will replace you. Either you will follow them. Either you will follow them. He said it 3 times. Either you will follow them and obey them, or you will be replaced by them. When he made that statement, and what's the source? What's the source? Sahih Muslim. I don't hear nobody talk about that hadith but myself. When he said that, the companion said, what do you mean? Either we'll be replaced by him, his people, or we will follow them. What do you mean? He said, it will become clear. And he died after that. That was a few weeks before the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam died. And Muwatta goes into great detail about that hadith. I never hear nobody mention but me and Sheikh Morsi, because I learned it from Sheikh Morsi, my teacher. After, when he died, the Prophet died, nobody understood that hadith really. They didn't understand it. But then, as the fitna developed amongst the Muslims, you know, after the caliphate of Umar, radiallahu anha, after the caliphate of Uthman, radiallahu anha, after the caliphate of Ali, when Ali and all was murdered too, who emerged? Who emerged after those companions died off, guys? When the original companions started dying off, what happened? Can anybody remember that? Who can tell me the history? Once the original companions died off and their knowledge began to die off with them, who emerged? Who did the people start following? Can anybody remember? This is sad. Y'all don't know the history of your religion. And all of this stuff is in Bukhari and Muslim. Who did the people take their knowledge of Islam from after the companions, guys? Can anybody think?
Like the Mutawalas?
Nah. Who did the companions get their, who did the people that came after the companions get their knowledge of the religion from?
From the scholars.
Who are they? Y'all don't use the right words, man.
The scholars.
Who? Who are these names? Who did they pick? And they still use them today. Who do most Muslims today get their knowledge? No, not even them. Okay. Then they're part of it. But who do the people learn their religion from? Who are they learning their religion from? Muslims?
Fatwas.
The 4 imams or?
The 4 imams. Oh my God. See, I got brothers here watching. Do you brothers see why y'all need to stop all that political junk y'all arguing and fighting on YouTube and stuff? Muslims don't know anything today. They don't know the basics. After the Prophet's companions began to die off, who came first? That's where your 4 imams came from. And also, she did get it right. Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Malik, Imam Hanafi, Imam Ashafi. Where were the majority of those people from? Does anybody know that? You brothers should know. Where did these men come from? Were they Arabs? Were they? They were Persians. Most of them were Persian. They were Salman al-Farsi's people. They weren't all Arabs. The only one of the 4, there was only 1 imam that was Arab of the 4 imams. Did y'all know that? Only one of the 4 imams was Arab. Imam Bukhari was not an Arab. Imam Muslim was not. They were Persians. They were Persians. They were Salman al-Farsi's people. Either you're going to follow them or you won't. That's what the prophet meant. When the prophet said they will replace you, he was speaking about how once the companions die off, they will be replaced by just a few, just a handful of people who will come after them trying to keep the Sunnah going. That's your Imam Bukhari. That's your Imam Muslim. That's your Imam Malik. That's your Imam Hanafi. That's them. What about Ibn Taymiyyah? What about Ibn Qayyim? For those of you who don't know, they weren't Arabs either. Where were they from? Persia. 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 My God, y'all got to learn this deen. I keep telling y'all, the Arabs, everybody think everybody was an Arab. No, no, no. Persians. Okay? So that's when that started to happen. That's when people could see, wow, that's what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam meant. You will either be replaced. What does that mean? You're going to take those madhabs. Even though these men didn't come with that, Imam Hanafi, Imam Malik, all of the Imams, the 4 Imams, they all said, if you come upon a hadith that contradicts what I said, and that hadith is authentic, disregard what I said, because they were not companions. They didn't meet the companions. They learned from the students of the companions. Those 4 Imams were upon Siratul Mustaqim. They were trying to protect and preserve the Sunnah and its authenticity, just as Imam Bukhari did, just as Imam Muslim did, just as Ibn Taymiyyah was trying to do, Ibn Qayyim, Ibn Qadir, and the rest of them. But they were Persian. They weren't Arabs. Okay? And the second part of that hadith, the Prophet said, you will be replaced. He was talking about the people today, the Muslims today, who will take the madhabs over the Sunnah. You will take an opinion from a madhab, even if it contradicts what the companion said, you will replace their understanding with madhab. And who can give me an example? Who can give me an example that I mention all the time to you women, which is how you have replaced, how we have replaced the companions and their understanding with the madhab? Give me an example.
The understanding of how many days a woman can bleed for on her period.
Exactly, the menses. None of the 4 Imams got it right, guys. None of the 4 Imams got it right, because they didn't get to meet with Aisha, radiallahu anha, so she could break that down to them. But when I show you the hadith that is authentic from Bukhari, you don't tell me what Imam Hanafi said or what Imam Malik said. No one can out-trump the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he said a woman's menses is not determined by the amount of days, period, dot. But instead of people following that hadith, they're taking their madhabs over it. Can anybody think of another example? What about during Ramadan, related to women who are pregnant? A lot of women get pregnant and they don't fast. They think because they're pregnant, they don't have to fast. Who said that? Did the prophet say that? No. Was that the understanding that Aisha, radiallahu anha, had about pregnant women and fasting? Is that the understanding that Ibn Abbas had? No. Is that the understanding that Ibn Umar had? No. But instead of you doing what they said, you've replaced them. You've replaced what Aisha said about women who are pregnant and Ramadan. You've replaced what Ibn Abbas said and what Ibn Umar said about women fasting during Ramadan with what Salman al-Farsi's people said. You replaced it with what Imam Hanafi said. What Imam this said. Imam that said. Y'all see that? Pregnant women are supposed to fast too. The only time a pregnant woman doesn't fast is like what Ibn Abbas said, Ibn Umar said, and what Aisha said. If she's diagnosed as a high-risk pregnancy, if she's not a high-risk pregnancy, she got to fast, baby. A lot of you women have had babies and never fasted because you're following somebody's opinion or somebody's understanding other than those original companions. And what's the source of all that? Bukhari and Muslim. So those are examples as to how knowledge, the true knowledge and the true understanding of Islam will disappear with the death of the originals and the death of the scholars that came after them. Nobody ponders the fact that Imam Malik, Imam Hanafi, Imam Shafi, they all said, if you find a hadith that contradicts anything I say, forget about what I said. We're not doing that. Okay. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when we live to see this happen, where we have divided, the companions have become replaced. Their understanding of the religion has become replaced with other people's ideologies, other people's understanding. He said it will get so bad that when people walk past a grave, what will happen? Who can remember that hadith about the grave?
And they walked past the grave, those which they were inside that grave.
Exactly. It'll be so bad that you'll be so confused, not knowing which way is up, which way is down, that you'll be wishing you were dead. Can't win for losing. You'll be wishing you were dead because you're going to be so confused, so overwhelmed with the challenges of life. I'm trying to be a good Muslim. This person telling me this thing, that person telling me another thing. That's why you have to make dua. What did the Prophet say to do? And also remember, guys, not only did Allah tell us how to recognize the signs of the last hour, but he told us what to do when it happens. What did he say to do when you live to see all those calamities and you wish you were dead? Because you don't know which way to go, which way is right, which way is not. What did the Prophet tell us to do if we live to see that? Come on, people. You don't know how to find knowledge of the religion. You don't know how to find a good teacher. What did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tell us to do? What does Allah tell us to do? You want to know who to take your information from. What do? What did you do, Layla? What did you do, Layla? What did you do, Geechee? What did you do, Mina?
I plead to those upon the correct, correction of this.
What did you do? I couldn't understand her. What does Allah tell us to do? If you are sincere about wanting to know who to take from, what did Allah say do? You're confused. I can't hear none of y'all. Go ahead.
Disassociate yourself and go.
No. I want to learn. Yes, just make dua. Exactly. Good job. It's just that simple. If you're so confused about this religion because you got all these different people talking about Islam and you don't know who to follow, who to listen to, the Prophet said, turn to Allah and raise your hands and ask Allah to guide you to the proper source, and He will. It's just that simple. Instead of wishing you were dead, or you could have go back to being apostate, just say, oh, Allah, guide me to the truth, and He will. Okay. Also, we talked about how another one of the signs of the last hour, the Prophet said there will be few men, more women than men. We all know that hadith. We all know that there'll be more men than women. Okay, hold on for a minute, Brother Elban. I'll be done in a few seconds. I got to get this quiz for these people.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I got a lot of people logged in for this. Okay, not only did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tell us that there will be more men than women, he told us why. Who can remember why? Why is it that there'll be 50 women assigned to one man? And I want y'all to tell me, is this happening? Why?
Because the men have been taken away by wars.
And not just wars, what else?
Not having a proper knowledge.
Where are most of the good men in America?
Yeah.
There you go. It's because of either war or they're being imprisoned. That's why. Why is it? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it doesn't mean when there'll be more, the women will outnumber the men. He said they're not going to outnumber the men because of more girls being born per se. He said there'll be more women than men, to the point where as one man will be responsible for 50 women because of the wars, or the ones who are righteous will be imprisoned for their beliefs. Now, y'all tell me, is that happening today? We all focus on, yes, there's more women than men. But is the reason why happening? Is it because of war? And is it because of the good men being imprisoned? Is it?
Yes.
So you guys see how I'm teaching this. This is how what the Prophet taught. When you live to see the signs, don't just say the sign is here. Ponder why it's here. What's happening to make it here? And what role do you play in that? The good men are either dead or in jail. Where are the scholars of Islam? Either the scholars of Islam are dead or they're in jail. That's the truth. Or they're sent to a part of the world and censored, like Sheikh Munajid. Munajid has been sent to a bad part of the world and censored, told that he better not ever speak about Islam or he'll be executed. And there's a lot of other brothers in those same predicaments who are not scholars, but regular people like you and me, who are imprisoned because they refuse to bend to the need of the Zionists. Okay? Also, another sign that we talked about, The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there'll be lots of murder, lots of killing. And he also told us why. Why will there be a lot of killing, guys? Why will there be a lot of murder? Why? He said, and the killing he's talking about is not for non-Muslims. He said the killing will be my nation. One of the signs of the last hour, lots of killing, lots of murder. In my nation, we'll kill each other. A son will kill its father. A father, his son. A Muslim, his neighbor. Why? Can anybody remember why?
Why? Is it because of weakness and panicking? Or something like that?
No.
Jealousy and hate?
No. Well, jealousy and hate plays a part, but it's all because of what sign that has happened.
Our emotions.
No.
Division.
What? Exactly, Layla. Division. We will kill each other because we've divided as a nation. Our belief system has divided. Our understanding has divided. And the people are weak. Good job, Sakina. And ignorant of the religion. You're going to kill your son because you think he's a kafir, because he's too lazy to pray. That happens every day. How many children are killed by their parents because their parents think they're kafir because they don't pray? How many women of this nation have been killed, murdered because they don't wear hijab? Because you think because your daughter stops wearing a hijab, she's a kafir. So kill her. See that? So those hadiths don't mean turn on the TV and you see a lot of murder. Those hadiths are talking about us as a nation because of the division within us. We're killing each other because we don't understand our religion. Because, as the prophet said, we have deviated away from the traditional Islam. And the traditional Islam is the understanding those companions were upon. Would the Prophet Muhammad have killed a woman for not wearing a hijab? No. He would have advised her. And if she kept doing it, he would have boycotted her. He'd have all the Muslims boycott her. And if she continued, then he would exile her. He would exile her. But he would never have killed a woman for not wearing a hijab. Would he have killed a man because he didn't pray? No. He would have talked to him first to make sure he understands that prayer is an obligation. And if the person understood that, but was too lazy, he would have had everybody else boycott him. And if he continued, he may have exiled him. But would he have killed him? No. And there were some people who converted to Islam who didn't pray because they were lazy. Y'all see that? The understanding of those companions is everything. And then he talked about the Kharijites. The Kharijites, they appeared during his lifetime. They became aggressive during the caliphate of Uthman, radiallahu anhu. And they became violent during his caliphate. And they started all the fitan that's going on today in this world. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam even told us how to recognize them. How did he describe the Kharijites? Can anybody answer that? What description did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam give us of the Kharijites? Who were they? Who are they? Who are they? Who can tell us the hadith? Who are the Kharijites? I'm not talking about their belief system. Who are they? What's the hadith? No one remembers? Say y'all don't remember.
We don't remember.
Okay, the Kharijites. He said they are the young and foolish men. Young, foolish, emotional, passionate, but they don't have no understanding of this religion. No understanding. They'll call themselves calling you to Islam. They'll look at themselves as being enforcers of the religion. But because of their ignorance of it, they won't know the basics. They don't understand the meaning of the Shahada. They don't understand how to pray correctly. They'll cause all kind of fitin. They'll cause all kind of division in this nation. And he said there's a physical characteristic that many of them will have too. Who can remember what that physical characteristic is?
They will have bald heads.
Exactly. They will shave their heads. They will have bald heads. How many of y'all know people that fit the bill? Young, zealous, enthusiastic, passionate Muslim men who got a lot to say about this religion, a lot to say about the dawah, but they don't understand the lawful and the unlawful. They don't understand the hadiths. They don't even know the hadiths. Most of them have bald heads, don't they? Look around. Look on the internet. Baldies. Okay? And what is it though? I'm going to tell y'all how you can recognize who a true Kharijite is. How did the Kharijites view the companions? Anyone? What attitude did the Kharijites have about the companions? Y'all should know this. Look what happened with Uthman. How did they view the companions? The Kharijites, they're the ones that will issue Islamic verdicts that go against what Allah said. They go against what the companions said. They will never use hadiths, what Ibn Abbas said about following a local sighting. That's another example. A lot of these brothers, every Ramadan, they'll tell you to look for a local sighting. They don't know what they don't tell you what happened. Why did Ibn Abbas use a local sighting? They don't know that. They don't go into that. Why? How did they view the companions? Anybody remember? How do they view the companions today? Dr. Jamali put a lot of shorts out about them. How did they view the companions today? They view the companions as kafir, guys. A lot of the Shiites are Kharijites. They hate the companions. They hate them. They think that Abu Bakr and Umar were kafir. They call Uthman a kafir. Subhanallah, guys. All of these hadiths. So, these are some of the hadiths that we covered up to this point. And that's why I said I wanted to go over and quiz you on these hadiths, because I'm going to take y'all on this journey of these different signs that are all happening now. All of these signs are happening even today. And they're all the signs that lead up to the big one, which is the war against Islam. But y'all are going to have to remember these hadiths. You're going to have to remember the meaning of them. You're going to have to look around and see what's happening in the world today and see that Allah made these signs manifest. And when you look at the signs, then you will stop blaming other people and instead put the blame where it belongs, on us, ourselves. Everything good that happens comes from Allah. Everything bad that happens comes from Allah too, as a result of what we brought on ourselves. And what's the sin we committed? We've deviated away from true Islam. Those companions, we have replaced those companions. We have replaced them with other men. We've taken the fatwas of other men over them. Even though some of the good men told us, don't take from me if what I'm saying is contradicting any of them. All right, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Are there any questions about any of these hadiths or any of these points? Any questions? Is everything clear? You guys are going to have to do better in expressing yourselves. Sign of the last hour. Wait till we get to that hadith. That hadith about how the people of the truth will not be able to get it out their mouth. The people of the truth will not be able to get it out. They can't speak well. Welcome to Sunnahfollowers. What? Who said that? Who said that Imam Muslim betrayed Imam Bukhari? Don't know. No. Don't nobody betray nobody. Brother Abdullah, Imam Muslim was a student of Imam Bukhari. But Shaitan, like I tell y'all, what's the job of Iblis? Iblis doesn't concern himself with people like you and me. We're peasants. Our personal jinn takes care of us. Iblis's job is to take down the prophets, to try to destroy the prophets' families, or take down the true scholars of the religion and destroy their families and destroy their relationships. Imam Muslim did not betray. That's a terrible word to use. Don't use the word betray. Imam Muslim was a student of Imam Bukhari, but Shaitan tried to destroy Imam Bukhari, and he caused the people to turn against him, even his students. So Imam Muslim was one of his students. He turned against him too. But that doesn't make him a kafir. That doesn't make him a whatever. It's just like me. Let me use myself as an example. Laila Nasheeba. I've been teaching Islam on the internet since 1986. That most people have heard of me and have been in my website. I was close with a lot of sisters. A lot of sisters I was close with as their teacher, teaching them this deen. But they got angry. They allowed Shaitan to make them mad because they asked me a question and I didn't give them the answer they wanted to hear, or because I was giving a lecture, I got passionate about it and it touched their heart in such a way that they couldn't handle it. So even though I love this sister and I was close to her, she turns against me. She mad because I didn't give her the answer she wanted. So she makes a Facebook group called Laila Nasheeba is no good. Stay away from Laila. That happens every day. Does that make her a kafir? That makes her maybe a sinful person, or it makes her a person that just fell guilty to shaitan. So I don't want you guys to allow your personal jinns. When I'm teaching y'all the history of Islam, and I'm teaching y'all the meaning of these hadiths, and this is why a lot of people, Mina, I want y'all to pay attention in my Zoom room. A lot of y'all ask me, why come nobody goes into detail like you, Layla? That's why. Because they're so afraid that the people are so feeble-minded that you will end up hating the companions or hating a scholar because of your love for another. That's why nobody talks about the battle of the camel but me. That's why nobody goes into the fitan that happened after Uthman but me, because the people of knowledge are so afraid that when y'all learn the history and the truth, you'll be so weak that you'll start asking questions like this. So now you want to think that Imam Muslim's hadiths are not authentic because he was Imam Bukhari's student and he fell out with him. Brother Abdullah, Imam Muslim was a scholar of this religion too. All his hadiths are authentic. And may Allah forgive Imam Muslim of all his sins. Ameen. He was a protector of the Sunnah. He was an enforcer of the Sunnah. So that's why a lot of the brothers don't like to go into detail, because some of us take it the wrong way. You know, it's no different than me and Amina Fresno. Amina Fresno can make me mad. And I say, I ain't going to talk to her no more. Does that make me a kafir? Y'all gonna now boycott me because I got mad at Amina Fresno? That's not how Islam is. Okay, do I answer your question, Brother Abdullah? You understand? That's why a lot of people don't teach y'all the history, because it's too much for people to handle sometimes. Imam Muslim is a scholar of this religion, just like his teacher. All right. Any other questions? And got about
too, Sister Layla, at the same time, when you're going over the hadiths, we start to think that what our opinion of them is or should have been too at the same time.
Yeah, but now y'all see, that's one of the reasons why they don't talk like me. That's why they don't go into detail telling y'all the story, because a lot of people can't have, they don't understand. So no, you know, Brother Abdullah, I got about 2,000 people out there that used to be students of mine, and they hate my guts because they didn't like my answer to a question. Does that make them a kafir? No, it makes them their loss, not mine. If they ever came back to the website, I welcome them back with open arms. But life happens. That's what Shaitan does. I'm sure you had friends, people that you were good friends with. Shaitan come between y'all and cause y'all to have a fallout, and you stop talking. That happens. That's life. Remember, Shaitan said, you know, after Islam spread throughout Arabia, the Prophet ﷺ said, when Islam spread throughout Arabia and the entire Arabian Peninsula became Muslim, Shaitan got angry. He said, I will attack them from the front, from the back, from the left, from the right. I will try to cause them to hate each other. I will cause them to divide and have enmity towards each other. That's Shaitan's job. He's trying to always turn us against each other. That happens. We break up in friendships. Marriages break up. Friendships break up. But does that make us kafirs? No. All right. Okay. Any other questions? All right, guys, I'm going to stop right here. Tomorrow, inshallah, we have our 6 o'clock class. And then we have our 9 o'clock class on enjoining good and forbidding evil. So, inshallah, the Zoom room is open for those of you who need to practice how to read the Quran or how to recite your prayers, join the Zoom room. Brother Malik is still there, right? Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, join the Zoom room. Brother Malik will help you. Okay, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu